The following is a basic introduction to metaphysics. Please note no positions are assumed or suggested to be correct. Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy which investigates principles of reality transcending those of any particular science. Cosmology and ontology are traditional branches of metaphysics. It is concerned with explaining the ultimate nature of being in the world. A metaphysician is, counterintuitively, the name of someone who studies metaphysics, not a metaphysicist. The title metaphysics comes from the Greek word meta, meaning beyond or after, and physika, meaning physical. A central branch of metaphysics is ontology, the investigation into what types of things there are in the world, and what relations these things bear to one another. The metaphysician also attempts to clarify the notions by which people understand the world, including existence, objecthood, property, space, time, causality, and possibility. Before the development of modern science, scientific questions were addressed as part of metaphysics, known as natural philosophy. The term science itself meant knowledge. The scientific method, however, made natural philosophy an empirical and experimental activity unlike the rest of philosophy, and by the end of the 18th century it had begun to be called science in order to distinguish it from philosophy. Thereafter, metaphysics became the philosophical inquiry of a non-empirical character into the nature of existence. Thus, the original situation of metaphysics, being integral with physics and science, has, in the West, become reversed so that scientists generally consider metaphysics antithetical to empirical sciences. The central questions of metaphysics are often difficult to frame in a non-controversial manner. Positions that can be taken with regards to any of the following questions are endorsed by one or another notable philosopher. The first field we're going to look at is that of abstract objects in mathematics, also known as nominalism, Platonism, or the philosophy of mathematics. Some philosophers endorse views according to which there are abstract objects, such as numbers, or universals. Universals are properties like redness or squareness. Abstract objects are generally regarded as being outside of space and time and/or being casually inert. Mathematical objects and fictional entities and worlds are often given as an example of abstract objects. The view that there are really no abstract objects is called nominalism. Realism about such objects is exemplified by Platonism. Other positions include moderate realism, as espoused by Aristotle, and conceptualism. The philosophy of mathematics overlaps with metaphysics because some positions are realistic in the sense that they hold that mathematical objects really exist, whether transcendentally, physically, or mentally. Platonic realism holds that mathematical entities are a transcendent realm of non-physical objects. The simplest form of mathematical empiricism claims that mathematical objects are just ordinary physical objects, i.e., that squares and the like physically exist. Plato rejected this view, among other reasons, because geometrical figures in mathematics have a perfection that no physical instantiation can capture. Modern mathematicians have developed many strange and complex mathematical structures with no counterparts in observable reality, further undermining this view. The third main form of realism holds that mathematical entities exist in the mind. However, given a materialistic conception of the mind, it does not have the capacity to literally contain the many infinities of objects in mathematics. Intuitionism, inspired by Kant, sticks with the idea that there are no non-experienced mathematical truths. This involves rejecting as institutionally unacceptable anything that cannot be held in the mind or explicitly constructed. Intuitionists reject the law of the excluded mill and are suspicious of infinity, particularly of transfinite numbers. Formalism and fictionalism are anti-realist positions that do not attribute any existence to mathematical entities. Another branch of metaphysics is that of cosmology and cosmogony. Cosmology is the branch of metaphysics that deals with the world as the totality of all phenomena in space and time. Historically, it has had a broad scope, and in many cases was founded on religion. The ancient Greeks did not draw a distinction between this use and their model for the cosmos. However, in modern use, it addresses questions about the universe which are beyond the scope of physical science. It is distinguished from religious cosmology in that it approaches these questions using philosophical methods. Cosmogony deals with specifically the origin of the universe. Modern metaphysical cosmology and cosmogony try to address questions such as: what is the origin of the universe? What is its first cause? Is its existence necessary? What are the ultimate material components of the universe? What is the ultimate reason for the existence of the universe? Does the cosmos have a purpose? Another branch of metaphysics is that of determinism. Determinism is the philosophical proposition that every event, including human cognition, decision, and action, is causally determined by an unbroken chain of prior occurrences. It holds that no random, spontaneous, mysterious, or miraculous events occur. The principal consequence of the deterministic claim is that it poses a challenge to the existence of free will. The problem of free will is the problem of whether rational agents exercise control over their actions and decisions. Addressing this problem requires understanding the relationship between freedom and causation and determining whether the laws of nature are causally deterministic. Some philosophers, known as incompatibilists, view determinism and free will as mutually exclusive. If they believe in determinism, they will therefore believe free will to be an illusion, a position known as hard determinism. Proponents range from Baruch Spinoza to Ted Honderich. Others, labeled soft determinists or compatibilists, believe that the two ideas can be coherently reconciled. Adherents of this view include Thomas Hobbes and many modern philosophers. Incompatibilists who accept free will but reject determinism are called libertarians, a term not to be confused with the political sense. Robert Kane is a modern defender of this theory. It is a popular misconception that determinism necessarily entails that humanity or individual humans have no influence on the future and its events, a position known as fatalism. Determinists, however, believe that the level to which human beings have influence over their future is itself dependent on present and past. Moving on, another branch of metaphysics looks at identity and change. The Greeks took some extreme positions on the nature of change. One denied that change occurs at all. Heraclitus thought that change was ubiquitous. You cannot step into the same river twice. Identity, sometimes called numerical identity, is the relation that a thing bears to itself, and which no thing bears to any other thing. According to Leibniz, if some object X is identical to some object Y, then any property that X has, Y will have as well. However, it seems too that objects can change over time. If one were to look at a tree one day, and the tree lost a leaf, it would seem that one could still be looking at the same tree. Two rival theories to account for the relationship between change and identity are perdurantism, which looks at the tree as a series of tree stages, and endurantism, which maintains the same tree, is present at every stage in its history. Religion and spirituality are a further branch of metaphysics. Theology is the study of God and the nature of the divine. Is there a God, monotheism, many gods, polytheism, or no gods, atheism? It is impossible to know if gods exist, agnosticism. Does the divine intervene with the world, theism, or is its sole function to be the first cause of the universe, deism? Are God and the world different, pantheism, dualism, or are they identical? There are some of the primary metaphysical questions within the standard Western philosophical tradition. Theology reached its peak under the medieval school of thought known as scholasticism, which focused primarily on the metaphysical aspects of Christianity. While the work of the scholastics has been largely eclipsed in the wake of modern philosophy, key figures such as Thomas Aquinas still play an important role in the philosophy of religion. Thank you for your time. In Metaphysics 2, we shall look at mind and matter, necessity and possibility, and objects and their properties, as well as criticisms of metaphysics. Thank you.